Yeah. How many of you are, anyone married? Any married partnerships here at the conference? Here live. I love how you're not sitting next together. What's up? That's what happens 20 years down the road. All right. 40 years. Let's give them a hand. 40 years. That's awesome. Wow. That's great. That is awesome. Because I noticed something happening as we grow up. See, I love those. How many of you kindergarten, first, second, third grade teachers, raise your hand? Kids are like that, and then they grow up and we become something. You know what I'm saying? It's that cool walk that starts to happen, right? And I'll be walking through a high school and I'll say hello to a young man. And I don't care where I'm across the country, I get the same response. I'm like, hey, how are you? The guy's like, you know, what is he checking to see if light bulbs are on? Or, yeah, I can imagine your conversation. How was school today, son? Well, there's my son, the Pez dispenser, you know. And they used to say, what's up? Now it's like, sup, you know, sup, you know. One-word sentences I found, right? And you can relate. The high school boys, it's cool not to talk a lot. Now I found where it's the guys, they don't like to talk a lot. The gals, they love to talk, right? And it's not just with their mouths, it's their entire bodies. It's like, hi. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know. You got whatever, talk to the hand, yeah, right? And you ladies are still like that, much more like that, aren't you? Come on, right? Much more like this, right? And what's your name? Cheryl. And let's say you have not seen Ginger in a couple weeks and you work together, you would have no qualms about embracing a nice big hug, right? Like, oh, Cheryl, Ginger. Because women are much more affectionate than us guys, right? And I met you earlier coming in. What's your name again? Sam. Let's say Sam and I work together. It's been a couple weeks, okay? Sam's like going, uh-oh, here we go. Touchy-feely time. Yeah. Let me catch that phone call. Are we going to embrace a nice big hug? No, probably not. We'll probably go, what's up? You know, smack each other, something like that, right? And ladies, where do you go to catch up? This is universal. Where do you go to catch up? The bathroom. 2 of you, 4 of you, 8 of you, head to the restroom, right? You talk out of the stalls, you talk in the stalls. Underneath those stalls. Like, oh my God, where'd you get those pumps? Look at those. Come on. Come on. Right? Now that's a female thing, right? Yeah, because it's a president, right? No, executive director. I guarantee if the executive director in the next hour or so has the urge to use the facilities, which he might, right? I guarantee you, ladies, he will not stand up, head to the exit sign over there, hesitate, turn around and say, oh, excuse me, gentlemen. I'm heading to the restroom. Anyone else care to join me? Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen, right? No. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, this is the deal. We could be having a conversation and we hit those bathroom doors, boom, we cease talking, right? He'll stand over here. Here's the executive director. Here's me. I find the farthest one. I stand here. Third guy comes in. President comes in. It's math time. He's like, okay, but divide by 2. Here's the middle right there. We do not multitask in the restroom. We don't multitask in general, but definitely not the restroom. We're just kind of checking out the grout. Boy, good grout work there, not bad. Looks like you missed a spot a little bit right there. And God forbid another dude stands next to us. If we do make eye contact, it's like, what's up? And then we're out of there. So how many of you see, as we grow up, you see that we kind of start taking ourselves a little seriously? You see that happening, yes or no? Okay, excellent. How many of you have a 4 or 5-year-old living at home? A kid, 4 or 5-year-old. How many times a day does your kid laugh in one day, if you had to guess? 100 times. How about you behind her, ma'am? All day long. She's like, my kid's funnier than hers, okay? Yeah. Well, they did a study, University of California, Berkeley. 4-year-olds in America laugh over 300 times a day. 300 times a day. Now, how many times do you think the average adult in America laughs? Once, and I haven't laughed yet today. This ain't funny at all. This bathroom humor stuff, whatever you think that is. This is an educational conference here. Where's the meat? I want some strategy. So the average adult, guess how many times we laugh in general? Like seven. So here's these 4-year-olds laughing 400 times a day. We grow up and we're acting 7. How many of you put this on your cheek initially? Raise your hand. Okay? Why'd you do that? You did it again because I did it. I was saying shit, I was doing this. So how do kids learn from us? By what we say or by what we do? By what we do. So what are we modeling based on this study? What are we modeling for kids? Yeah, grow up. Wipe that smile off your face. Act your age. And no wonder they're growing up all serious like this. Right? So, interesting. Let me ask you a question. How many of you in this room can paint a picture? Raise your hand. Okay? Wow. Okay. A lot of people from my class last hour. Who's the kindergarten teacher? Raise your hand. Kindergarten teachers? If I walk into any kindergarten class, your kindergarten teacher? If I walk into your kindergarten class, Mr. President, and I ask these children, how many of you can paint a picture? How many hands would I have up? All of them. Okay? So I'm at the, there's an association for all the teachers who teach teachers. Right? Remember the professors that taught us? They have an association. They were in Chicago. 1,800 teachers who teach teachers, mostly professors. Okay? Most of them have PhDs. I asked the same question. How many of you can paint a picture? Honest to God, there was less than 2 dozen. Less than 24. And I jumped off the stage. It was the first time I ever asked that question. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I went up to, ma'am, what's your name? Dr. Johnson. Doctor, can you paint a picture? No. Sir, how about you? Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith, can you paint a picture? Absolutely not. And I was like, wow. So again, I asked the kindergarten kids in America, how many of you can paint a picture? Me. How many of you can sing? Oh, I can. Right? And here's this group, and I asked this group, how many of you have PhDs? At least 90% of them had their hands up. I thought of all the education in this room, all the knowledge in this room, and you're telling me that less than 1% of us can paint a picture? What's up with that? Based on this informal study, who has more self-esteem, them or us? Who say kids have more self-esteem? Raise your hand. Wow, it's universal. So if that's the case, I'm going to get a close-up here. If that's the case, there's a lot we can learn from children.